out of respect, I'd like to start the show officially with a moment of silence. I believe we're never going to have a chance to bet against Mike McCarthy again as an NFL head coach. So, quick moment of silence. Okay, thank you. Mike McCarthy's a fucking moron. He is just the fucking worst. All right. Hello, everybody. Been telling you about this one for a while. Special guest Wednesday edition of Fade the Mahoney. That's Irieguy. Right.
Cheers, there. Guys. Thanks for having me.
I've got Woodford Reserve. Edonk has Truly, I think, is his beverage of choice.
It is unfortunately Truly, but
I have a Sierra Nevada.
All right. For real, it's Truly?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
This is a kind of a disgrace.
I was drinking Maker's Mark on the rocks all day. I need a little tone it down.
Yeah. Only the super special patrons, our patrons, had access to the last 45 minutes of discussion that we just had. The rest of you, you're shit out of luck. That was some good stuff right there. Again, Irieguy is here. I don't think he's ever done a fake sports gambling YouTube show before. This is the first one.
This is my first. Yep.
We're very excited. Hey, Irie, shout out for having the Hotmail account.
Thank you.
You and me. That's it.
I'm not giving it up.
We are the only two that are left. Trying to think. I don't think I have anything to recap. I usually have stuff to talk here. I've been waiting for Edonk so long that I've been on this for a while. I'm already cloudy. So let's.
You said 5 o'clock. I was on time.
Yeah, ish. You're on time ish. Irie and I have been talking for a while, and I've been drinking. So I'm a little foggy, COVID brain and Maker's Mark, or not Woodford Reserve brain. I've got some questions I'd like to ask you, Irie. Most people who are watching this probably listened to your episodes on sessions. If you guys haven't, you need to go back and listen to them. If you can't find them, it means you don't have an RSS feed, which means you're not a Sessions patron, which you should be, because those episodes are awesome. Edonk, yes, those episodes are awesome.
100%.
All right, so everybody go do that.
It was a lot of fun doing those podcast episodes. You know, while we were all stuck staring at the wall for a year. It was really nice to have the Sessions podcast and the community to help some time click off while we were all getting through it.
Yeah, they were super entertaining. The things that I remember as most entertaining, we had a story about how the script of Rounders really didn't come from who the people think it came from. And we also had a turning point hand from you. It was a PLO hand that you're never, ever, ever, ever supposed to win. That
yeah, it was it was crazy. It's funny, Mike, that you mentioned that. I wasn't planning on plugging it, but my roommate who wrote the script for Rounders wrote a book about the experience of the legal battle involving it, and got it published. And the book is available for pre-sale right now. It's called Dirty Dealing by Jeffrey Allen Grasso, and it's a great read. So if anybody wants to hear the story about how Rounders was really written and the fight against Miramax and Disney over the rights to the script, it's an entertaining read.
Well,
I think it'll be available in a couple months. You can get it on pre-order right now. So
that's amazing. I'm going to order it. Dirty Dealing?
Dirty Dealing, yeah, by Jeffrey Allen Grasso.
All right. If I can figure out a way, if it's available like on Amazon and everything, I'll put a link down below.
That'd be great. And if you want to interview the author, he'd probably be willing to come on. He's a degenerate too, so. You'd probably be willing to tell the story. Yeah.
There's I've got a buddy by the name of Mike Trout, legend in the community, who once told me when we were at a poker table, the guests you get on your show are way better than you deserve. Which
That's the nicest thing someone could say to a podcast host.
I agree with him 100%. So we'll go for that. I have a question from a community member by the name of Neuro Nerd. I asked for any questions. He came through. He wanted me to ask you who you like in the 2020 Las Vegas Challenge for Disc Golf Pro Tour. You got anybody you're throwing some money on?
I think that I'm sharp when it comes to disc golf handicapping, so I keep that information completely to myself.
Okay. Well, I mean, one of the reasons we had you on was the disc golf sharpness, but I mean, I respect that you'll keep it on the down low. Maybe offline you can share it with me so I can give it to Neuro.
Sure. But I shout out to Neuro. I look forward to playing around with him next time he's in town.
All right. Next question. Do you think that the way that skins are handled on a golf course, do you think that's fair or unfair?
Edoc, I heard you complaining about the fairness of skins, and I thought it was a bit. I thought you guys were doing a comedy bit, because I can't believe somebody would be authentically that confused.
Well, no, come on. I was being 100% sincere.
Our show, we had done several episodes, I don't know, 20, let's say, and there were a few views. Every episode got a few views, and then that one dropped and people couldn't get enough of it.
Yeah, it's like Edoc, it's like complaining about credit card roulette because sometimes somebody gets a free meal. That's just the way fucking gambling works, dude.
I think what I said in the show is it's like the Electoral College. That's the part that was edited out of the best of.
Okay.
You might not like it. You may think it sucks, but rules are rules. You can't tell a group of 100 degens to bet on a skins match, and then when they ask for updates, you send them these complex algebra problems about who's winning.
Yeah, I love. We play disc golf every week, and that's all we do. All we do is play skins. It's the cleanest way to gamble in golf, I think, and also creates really funny spots where you can punt all day long and have one lucky shot and win all the money. It's fantastic. So Edonk, you got to get it fixed.
I'm just looking at Edonk waiting for him to respond, because in his mind, what's racing through his mind is that's not fair.
I
can't tell who it's not fair for, though. It's not. You can't tell in advance who's going to be the beneficiary of the rules. So it's an equal sweat for everyone.
Yeah, I guess just agree to disagree on this one.
Fair enough.
He's still on the wrong side. He will not let go.
You're just gonna be wrong. You're just gonna be wrong forever. All right.
That's not fair. All right.
Sometimes you just gotta dig your heels in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I want to talk semi briefly about the Calcutta that's going on. Yeah. You guys are still alive. Congratulations. You've got the Packers. So I've got two questions. One, are you okay with the investment that you made on the Packers?
No, I'm not okay with the investment we made on any team except for the Ravens. We got it in good there. And then the Steelers pick was a tremendous blunder on my behalf. I overrated them by about 60% because I just forgot to type it, to put in the Monte Carlo simulator that they needed the Colts to lose in order to advance. So that's kind of a big part of it. And I also didn't include that they wouldn't have advanced if the Raider game ended in a tie. And I learned that while I was watching the Raider game. So that was cool. So we fucked up on the Steelers pretty bad. What happened with the Packers was we had estimated their equity, and we had guessed that the final prize pool, we thought it was going to be 24,000, right? The final prize pool.
Yeah, I think 25,000. Yeah.
Yeah. So I asked Edonk, I'm like, you did pretty good last year. What do you think? You really have to be able to predict the prize pool to make good bids. And Edonk came up with 24,000. And then after the first couple of bids, in real time, we just decided that the pool was going to blow up to be twice that big.
Okay.
And we went into the Green Bay bidding with the assumption that the prize pool was going to be bigger than we originally predicted. So we ended up overpaying for Green Bay as well. But not tragically so. I mean, we might be losing $100 or something.
Okay. Well, the math nerds who paid attention would understand that the only logical error you could have made was prize pool. You do realize you can only profit on the Packers as if they win the Lombardi Trophy.
Well, with the prize pool of 24,000, yes.
Yes.
But we were at that point, I think at the time, maybe you remember, Edonk, but I think at the time we were bidding on them, we thought the prize pool was going to be 44,000.
Yikes.
Yeah, we had some estimates of anywhere between like 35 and 45,000. Yes. There were some estimates.
Yeah, I just didn't realize we were gambling with such a giant bunch of pussies.
Here, I probably shouldn't give you this pro tip for next year, Irieguy, but maybe in the future when it comes to math and some stuff like that, don't rely on Edonk at all.
But that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
Edonk was our math guy. I was our handicapper using only COVID data. The way that I handicapped the games was just looking at where the COVID surges were and which teams were more likely to have a heavy part of the roster out during the playoffs. And I thought that there was an arbitrage there because everybody's impression of Green Bay is that is Aaron Rodgers, that he's a crazy anti-vaxxer, but Wisconsin has a high vaccination rate, and they're ahead of the curve on the Omicron surge, and nobody travels to Green Bay. So they're the least likely team to be affected by COVID roster restrictions through the playoffs. And I thought that represented a chance to get them at a good price, but we fucked up on estimating the prize pool. So
that's the level of handicapping that no one else did, the COVID surging. So congrats.
That was just the one thing that I could have a chance at knowing more about than people I was gambling against. But we really shit the bed on that bid.
Yeah. There are some people who think that the team that has the Buccaneers and the Titans did the best in the auction. That's what some people are saying.
I agree.
Nice. I know you've got a couple of stories chambered for us. I don't know how you could get anywhere near as good as the stories that we all listen to on sessions, but I'm going to leave it up to you how you want to take care of them. Do you want to tell the craps story first, or do you want to do the hand history? Which one? And is there a way, as a YouTube content creator specialist that I am, that I should set it up for you?
I don't have any advice on the setup, but I can tell you, I think we'll do the crap story first because.
Hey, Irieguy, can you tell us a crap story?
I would love to tell you a crap story, Mike.
Nice, let's do it.
So I love gambling stories. I could listen to them all day long. That's why I wanted to tell some stories on the Sessions podcast. And when you guys asked about this podcast, I said I can probably come up with a few stories that I haven't told yet before. And this was the first one that came to mind because this was the first kind of gambling escapade that I had when I moved to Las Vegas in 2004. So this was like August, September 2004. So Moneymaker won the World Series in 2003, maybe ish.
Oh, that sounds right.
So what was going on in poker at the time is prior to that, there were basically no limit hold'em tournaments anywhere ever, except for the World Series and then sometimes the main event of like a local poker tournament. But right after Moneymakers win, all of these casinos started running poker tournament, no limit hold'em tournaments. And some shitbum casino would send out an email advertising a tournament, for like $100 or whatever, and people would travel for it, and you get these huge prize pools on like $100 tournaments, $200 tournaments, kind of in the middle of nowhere. So I had just moved to Las Vegas. I was stone broke. I probably couldn't have come up with $500 for ransom if I needed to. And I got this email from a casino in Mesquite, Nevada, which, for if you don't know where that is, it's about 90 miles north of Las Vegas.
Okay.
In the middle of nowhere, there's absolutely nothing going on there, but they had one casino at the time. They might have 2 or 3 now. And they were running a no limit hold'em tournament, $125 buy-in, and you can get a room there for $25. So me and my practice manager and best friend at the time and his wife decided that we were going to go drive up to Mesquite, stay the night, and play in this $100 no limit hold'em tournament. So we drive up there, and there's like a banquet room just filled with poker tables. There was they probably ended up getting 500 players or something. And I don't think there's ever been 500 people in a Mesquite casino before that. We have no money at all, except for the money for the buy-in. And it's me, my friend, we'll call him Zen, that was his nickname, and his wife, Mrs. Zen. My wife, was smart enough not to even come on the trip. So the 3 of us go up there. Saturday, the tournament starts at noon or whatever. We buy in. I get busted, pretty quickly, as expected. And Zen was still alive. So there's nothing to do in Mesquite. There's no bowling alleys, no movie theaters. I didn't have any money to gamble with. So I just sat there on the rail drinking see-throughs and getting hammered while Zen played this poker tournament. And he ended up making it. Yes. Question?
Yes. What's a see-through?
A cocktail that you can see through, like a vodka tonic or a bourbon on the rock. Yeah.
I've led a sheltered life, so thank you.
Yeah. A see-through as opposed to like rum and Coke or margaritas or daiquiris or something a little less potent. So
Gotcha. Okay, sorry.
So we were drinking pretty heavily all day long, and he ended up making the final table and busting in like maybe 8th or 9th place. I think he busted in 9th place, first one busting at the final table by getting, aces correct. The way that poker used to work is you just play tight and you would win. So you always end up getting busted by getting aces cracked or whatever, losing a flip. And he busted and cashed for $1,200.
Nice.
So we had $1,200. It's like midnight in Mesquite. And we decided that we should invest it into a little craps session. And we were falling down drunk at this point. And we thought it would be funny if we just bet the don't pass, don't come, like kind of aggressively, like yelling, ridiculing people, making a big show of it.
Yeah, people loved you. People loved you.
We thought it would be funny. And we also wanted to clear the table. There's only one craps table in the casino. And so we start betting the don't. And then when it was our roll, we would bet on the right side and lose back whatever we had made. But the table was just ice cold. So we were winning at a pretty good clip. And at one point in time, we just stopped rolling and just decided we would just bet the don't against everybody that came. And then we would pass the dice and just keep betting the don't. And we couldn't lose. So we got it in our head that we would refuse to take any large denomination chips except for black chips. We wanted to win every black chip in the casino. That was our goal.
The bigger ones are unlucky.
Bigger ones are unlucky. I don't know if they even have $1,000 chips at this casino at that time. They had 500, but so we decided to win all the black chips. And the table limit was probably $200. So we would be betting 2 black chips on the don't pass, and then a stack of 12 black chips on the odds, and we would stack it shitty so that every time they'd roll, it'd crash down and they'd have to restack the chip. We were being real assholes, and having so much fun. So we're loaded and we start filling our racks. A rack is usually about 30 chips. So, 3,000, 6,000, 9,000, 12,000. nobody could make a pass all night long. We're getting more and more drunk. And eventually we got every black chip in the casino, filling the racks on one half of the craps table. And we're just sitting there partying, waiting for someone to come up and roll. We bet the don't at the maximum we could, laugh when they 7 out. And we got up to a full half of the table filled with black chips. So probably about $60,000.
Mm.
Our combined net worth was like 4 cents.
This,
And like,
this sounds like where you guys quit, right?
yeah, right. So we quit and lived happily ever after. So I remember that part of it. I remember having all the black chips and needing to get paid in blue chip in 500s. And then it gets kind of foggy. And then the next thing I remember was the morning, Mrs. Zen is waking us up saying, come on, you guys, we got to check out, get the fuck out of here. And we are hurting. And neither of us remembers what happened. And we can't really talk about it because his wife's right there. We don't really want to talk about what happened to the 60 grand that we had. But we couldn't find any chips anywhere in the room. And I opened my wallet, and the only thing in my wallet is a receipt for a credit card cash advance for $600. So it's not timed at like 4:45 a.m. So apparently we went broke, went to the ATM, paid $100 to take out $600 on credit card, gambled that, lost every penny of that, and ended up with absolutely nothing. Neither of us had anything at all. So,
Overserved and running back.
I mean, I don't know how we lost it or why we didn't decide to keep $5,000 would have been kind of life-changing at that point in time in both of our lives, but we kept zero. So we're doing the walk of shame out of the casino, walking through from the hotel through the casino, and the casino manager, who I recognized from a couple hours earlier, puts his arms out, comes walking up to us. He's like, Irieguy, Zen, where are you guys going? And we're like, well, it's time to check out. He goes, no, stay another night. I'll get you a suite. You can eat at the steakhouse tonight on us. Mrs. Zen is standing there. She doesn't understand why the casino manager is talking to us like this. We explained that we have to get back to our lives and so forth. And he says, well, at least stay and have a meal, have dinner tonight at the steakhouse. And, we explained that we can't do that. And he says, you know what, I'll call the chef in right now. You guys can eat right now. You can have steak, lobster, mimosas, whatever you want. And Mrs. Zen, his wife, was like, yeah, I'm hungry. She hasn't eaten since the day before when we had Subway or whatever. So we went to the steakhouse at noon and had a full spread, just the chef and the three of us sitting in the center table, eating steak and lobster with not $1 bill in our pocket between us. And, Mrs. Zen is like, what happened such that this is going on? And, we just said, well, we're pretty fucking charming, I guess.
How much would you pay? I'll set the over under at $24,500. Would you pay that over or under for the videotape for what happened after the 60K was in front of you?
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't think it would be fun to watch. I don't think we probably weren't being very funny. We probably weren't having very much fun. It was probably a pretty sloppy mess. I have no memory of what happened, but no, I wouldn't pay anything. I don't want to see it.
Okay, all right.
Thanks for the offer. So that was my biggest run up and run down relative to my net worth at the time, probably, that I ever experienced.
It's pretty awesome that the only memory you have is the good part of it, I guess.
Yes, I don't remember feeling bad about it until I woke up the next morning. So
that's a lot of points that were hit in a row for a $200 don't pass bet with odds.
Yeah. My guess would be that it was probably just somebody got a little hot. It was probably just one roll, and we just kept going until it was gone. And then thought we could go to the ATM and try it again. Didn't work on the second try. Yeah.
That's actually the best part. The fact that the 60K went away and you decided to chase it with an ATM visit. At one point about 20 years ago, I solved craps. I read a book and I solved it.
Nice.
So that next visit I made was really, really good. And I wish I
You
would
want
have
to
stopped.
share? You want to share the solution? I'm always
No.
looking for a crap system. So
No, it's just like you with the disc golf. I'm not going to share it publicly.
I understand. I understand.
Offline, I'll let you know. I probably still have the book upstairs.
Oh, you didn't invent the system. You just
Oh no,
ran
I'm not that smart. I read a book and I can't believe everybody doesn't use the book, but no one else has found it. All
Yeah,
right,
that game
well,
can be a lot of fun, but
it's a fun game.
yeah.
All right, well, let's do the hand history. I've seen a brief outline that some things have aligned right now that I won't even ruin it. You tell the story. Go ahead.
Sure.
Hand history.
So this
Hold on 1 second. E-Dog, nothing drives views on YouTube like hand histories. We're in for it now. We're gonna blow up.
is that right? Is that
And
true?
hand histories and animals, right? Is that what it is?
Hand histories, animals, and best of clips. Usually I can only provide 2, but today we're gonna do hand histories as well.
All right, cool. This is I'm not unlike DJAF, I can't remember a hand that I played years ago and recite it. So this hand history is actually was transposed from the text that I sent to my friends a couple of minutes after the hand was over. So
Irieguy,
it's pretty
Irie,
accurate. Yeah.
can we name drop, please?
Oh, who I sent the text to?
It's important.
Yeah, well, it was
We're
for
big
sure-
believers. We're big believers in name dropping around here.
Yeah, it was the people that all had pieces of me in the game. So it was Durr, Peter Jetton, Jamie Kaplan, Gabe Patgorski. These are all Triton poker players, Triton
Okay.
series players. So if you watch like the Triton streams, these are guys that you'll see. I mean, everybody knows Durr, but Peter and Gabe are kind of known in the Triton poker universe.
Okay.
So the setup was, this is at a Triton poker tour stop in Montenegro at Maestro Casino, which is one of the most beautiful places to gamble in the world. It's on the beach in Montenegro. The casino is really nice. Triton poker tours are, run really well, really just top of the line in terms of the experience. And it was I think it was 2017, might have been 2016, but I think it was 2017. And this was a no limit hold'em. This was the big no limit hold'em game going. And we were playing in Hong Kong dollars using Euro chips, but I changed all the amounts to US dollars just to make it easier to follow the action. So
That would be very helpful.
So all the action is in US dollars. So the game is $300 small blind, $600 big blind, no limit hold'em. We were playing 8-handed. And this hand, the 3 people involved were JRB, Jean-Robert Balland.
Hey,
who's,
keep dropping those names.
he was involved with the hand. And then a player named Lauren Roberts, who is she's just she's some financier, maybe a hedge fund manager, just super end boss, awesome woman. Always loved playing with her. She's just a great person to have in a poker game. Very interesting, fun to play with. She was in the hand, and then myself. We were playing 8-handed, and in seat 1 is JRB. In seat 3 was Lauren Roberts, and then I was in seat 6, and JRB was the big blind. So he posted the $600 big blind.
Okay.
Our stacks were, JRB had a monster stack, $500,000. Lauren had about 200,000, and I had about 250,000. And I was playing for a small percentage of myself, but it was still one of the biggest games I've ever played in. And I had all of my money in my life on the table at the time.
Okay.
So it was a significant hand for me. And JRB is in the big blind. Lauren limps for 600. I raised to 2,000 with the 3-5 of diamonds. The small blind folds, JRB calls from the big blind. And I didn't really get any, that was my hand, 3-5 of diamonds.
Graphics department, nice job.
Nice. So I raised the 2,000, JRB calls, and I didn't get any interesting information from his call. He is going to defend the big blind probably more liberally than anybody in that game. And then Lauren limp calls. So the pot is $6,300.
Okay.
The flop comes 4 of diamonds,
That's a good card.
offsuit 6, and an offsuit queen. So I flop the open-ended straight draw with the backdoor straight flush draw, and there's no flush draw on board. And the pot is 6,300. That's the flop. Yep, that's my sexy hand right there.
Mhm.
So JRB leads. He opens from the big blind for 3,000. And you know, I played a lot of hands of poker with him. He has got a very wide open lead range. In that specific situation, he is going to think that he is significantly better than both me and Lauren. He's going to think that he can win the hand a whole bunch of different ways, even out of position. And he leads single raise pots from the blinds liberally anyway. So his range here is very, very wide. He will do this with nothing. Like, he will just stab because he thinks he can take down the pot a lot against the two of us. But when he bets 3,000, and my initial thought was that he wasn't light, like he had a piece of that flop.
Okay.
And he's going to defend the big blind with every hand that has a queen in it, including queen deuce. And I think that that's about the kind of hand that he probably has. It's probably a queen of some kind, and not ace queen.
Okay.
So he leads for 3,000. Lauren calls pretty quickly. And her play, I would expect her to call also with a wide percentage of her range right there. She can open limp call a raise with a lot of hands. A lot of her range is going to be aces, suited aces, pocket pairs, like basically what you would imagine a recreational player in early position kind of could have a lot of things right there. And when she calls, I didn't have any insight into what kind of hand she had, but she didn't seem particularly interested. So I didn't think she was that strong. So she calls the 3,000. And when the action gets to me, obviously I have a strong hand. I did consider whether or not a raise would be a stronger option than a call, but I decided for a lot of reasons to call right there. Keep the pot the size that it was at, considering our stack sizes. Having position with that kind of hand is a lot of different ways I can win the hand as well. And my implied odds are pretty good because both of these players are definitely capable of paying me off if I end up hitting this hand. So I decided to call the flop for 3,000. So that brings the pot to 15,300 when the action is closed on the flop. The turn is a offsuit 10, not putting a flush draw on the board. So let's say a 10 of spades.
Let's say 10 of spades. I fucked this up already.
You can do it.
Oh, geez. Sorry, everybody. Sorry. Boom.
Yeah, there we go. No, it must have been the 10 of hearts because there was no flush draw.
We'll edit that out. We'll edit that out in post. Keep going.
So we have no flush draw on the turn. There's no flush draw on the board, and the board is 4, 6, queen, 10. I have the same hand I had on the flop. I have an open-ended straight draw. I lost my backdoor equity with that. Yep, there we go. That's our board on the turn. So the pot is 15,300. JRB quickly checks. Lauren, pretty surprisingly, bets 10,000 right here. And when she does this, I kind of get the distinct impression that she just decided on the spot that she was going to try to make a play at the pot. She didn't think either of us were particularly strong because of the flop action. JRB will often defend his blind, lead, and then give up later. That's not an uncommon line for him with a lot of his range. So it seemed to me like she was just taking a stab at it, and that she just decided that right then on the spot.
Okay.
So I decided to raise. So I raised to 35,000. So the pot is 15,003 going into the turn. JRB checks. Lauren bets 10,000. I make it 35,000. JRB calls pretty quickly, and that kind of confirms my initial suspicion that he has something like a top pair hand. I just thought that he's not going to fold top pair right there. He's definitely going to put more money in if he's stronger than that at this point in time, or at least he might. So I became a little more certain that he had a top pair kind of hand. And Lauren just immediately mocks and says something like, something disparaging to me and JRB, like she regretted her attempt to stab at a pot with two people that never fold. So at this point, the pot is 95,000, and it's just me and JRB heads up. The river is a queen. Pairing the board. So our board is 4-6, queen 10, queen. With no flush on board, yeah. And JRB takes a moment and he bets 75,000 into 95,000. And here we go. All right, so I have a busted hand, but I've got a lot of chips behind still. I think JRB is just betting with the hand that it seems like he has, which is the queen. I'm not sure. He could have he could be lighter than that for sure. But I think that that's just the hand that he has. And I really, at this point in time, I was pretty happy with the way that the hand had played out, because I could easily, my range is the strongest. I could easily have pocket tens right here. I raised pre-flop. I played the flop slow. I raised what looks like for value on the turn. And then I went all in. On the river, I went all in for the rest of my money, which was 135,000 more than JRB's 75,000 open. So I am all in with five high.
Yeah, the five plays.
Five plays. And JRB is left with a decision whether to call or not for 135,000 more. And this hand took a while to resolve. He did not make the decision quickly. He stood up. I got the full speech. I got people getting called over to watch the end of the hand. I got to listen to him replay the hand through every street and what he thought everybody had at what stage. And the speech he was giving me was that he really thought that I had pocket tens, exactly pocket tens. But JRB is not like well known for making huge folds. And I knew this going into the hand, that it seemed like a good spot to make a play. And at the end of his speech, he came to the conclusion that he just couldn't beat anything that I could have except for a stone bluff. And he said he didn't think that, this is day one of the trip, by the way, which is kind of an important detail. We're in another country playing high stakes poker for what will be 10 days. This is the first day of the trip.
Hey, I know where Montenegro is, but I'm not sure Edonk does. So could you share with us where Montenegro is?
Sure. Montenegro is what was part of what used to be Yugoslavia.
Yugoslavia, yeah.
So it is south of Croatia, north of Macedonia, across the Adriatic Sea from Italy. So a quick flight from Rome across the sea, just south of Croatia. So you can fly into Dubrovnik, for example, and drive down to Montenegro, or you can fly into Montenegro.
Okay. Thank you.
Beautiful place. Yeah. So this is day one of the trip. And this, this is all my money. Basically all the money I have in the world is put into the middle of the pot on the bluff. And I felt pretty good. He came to the conclusion I had pocket tens, and then he called.
Oh,
Yeah, he called.
Irieguy, did you win that hand?
I did not win that hand. JRB had the queen eight.
Oh, wow. What a hero.
Yeah, so he made a very good call. I've never actually talked to him about this hand like authentically. I'd love to hear him actually tell me his true thoughts on why he called right there. All of my friends thought the play was terrible because of the fact that JRB is just not capable of making that fold, even if he thinks that I probably have a full house right there, which is what he said and what he thought, and he called. And that was a bad start to that trip. And that was the biggest bluff I ever ran, one of the biggest spots I've ever played, and it was not a happy ending.
Oh, that did not end up where I thought it was going. You think it was going that way?
No, I thought you might have gotten fold out of it. It's sometimes where you you're it's a great play. It's just it's finding it's all about who you're playing with. It doesn't really matter what you are trying to represent or trying to get through. It just matters who you're playing against.
I was ready to ask right after he folded. Well, obviously you showed, right? But
yeah, he showed all right.
no, I was going to ask if you showed when he folded the queen eight feet face up. If you were gonna, I assume you would have showed, right? Or
oh my God, I would have thrown it down and danced on the table. Of course, I'm going to show that hand to JRB. So I send that hand history to all the people that had a piece of me, including Durr, and Durr's reply was, LOL, JRB never folds.
Edon, last time you fired 175K with 5 high on the river.
Yeah, it hasn't happened. Nor would I appreciate an LOL text from anybody after.
Yeah, my group of friends, they were not shy about ridiculing the play. Obviously, I'm willing to tell the hand history because I think it's a kind of interesting hand of poker, and I don't know. I felt like JRB has folded the river like in the history of his existence. It has happened. Maybe not as often as I thought that it might, but I thought it was a pretty good spot to put that kind of pressure with that bet size based on the action. And at least I got a couple of minutes of good speech telling, and my heart was beating, for a minute. It was fun. It was a fun hand.
I do kind of understand why you requested that we all have a cocktail during the telling of that story, because
yeah,
that's quite a bit. So cheers to you for
cheers.
Bring up that Julie, Edon.
I have never told that hand history out loud. I sent, a text to the 5 people that cared about the hand, took my lumps via text, but I've never talked about that hand before, and didn't feel as good as I was hoping it would feel to talk about it.
Well, it's a great story. I have a couple of questions that I ask most people that are far more important than $175,000 river bluffs.
Okay.
So if you're cool with that, what's your favorite Taylor Swift song?
I like that song off her album before the current one called Lover. That's actually my favorite. I think that's the best song that she's ever written.
Nice. I think one time came up with Lover as well.
Yeah, I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan. I think she's a phenomenally talented singer-songwriter, and I don't care what people think about me because of that.
Irieguy, you're the best. When you have a few minutes, if you could go back, shout out David Tuckman, watch the episode we did with David Tuckman. He gave
Okay.
he gave a similar speech to you, as you to Edonk. Edonk would not be categorized as a Taylor Swift fan, and David Tuckman let him have it. So
Well,
appreciate.
good. I agree. I'm on Team Taylor. I watched the documentary that she had on Netflix maybe last year or whatever, and wished that I hadn't seen it. As with most people in the limelight who you admire, it's particularly songwriters, it's probably better to just not ever get to know them personally. Doesn't seem like she is a lot of fun to hang out with, but I think that she's a great melody writer. One of the best around right now. Her and the songwriting team of Billie Eilish and Phineas I think they're probably the three most talented current contemporary pop melody songwriters right now.
Interesting. I have not watched that documentary. I think mostly because of why you said.
Yeah, I just wouldn't watch it. Just keep loving Taylor. And
yeah, I did watch most of the Billie Eilish one. Not a huge fan.
Yeah.
I'm kind of old, so I think a couple of her songs are really good. But you did watch that doc, right?
I stopped watching that pretty quickly because I just didn't want to lose my love for Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
I saw her perform at Life is Beautiful Festival, which is the Las Vegas festival and I saw her in 2019, so right before COVID. She performed there as a headliner when she had just turned 17, and she was playing in front of a crowd of, I don't know, 30,000, 40,000, something like that. And she had the whole crowd in her hand like silly putty. And I've never seen someone that young command an audience with such authority. It was really cool to watch, and I've been a huge Billie Eilish fan ever since.
Yeah, the documentary really reminds you of she's just a kid.
Yeah, but I mean, when she's on stage, she's more a man than I am when she's on stage. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, Taylor Swift, lover, one time. You've got a kindred spirit. You guys are both on the same team here. Next question. Word or phrase to describe LeBron James last year in the playoffs after they got bounced, announcing publicly he was changing his jersey number.
One word or phrase?
For the following year. He was changing his jersey number for the following year, despite being eliminated from the playoffs and not having the spotlight on him anymore.
Right. This isn't a very interesting answer because I'm not an NBA fan. So my phrase would be, I didn't give a shit.
Okay. All right. We have a new segment on the show called Recent LeBron James Tweet. Edonk, did you see the recent LeBron James tweet talking about the gentleman who got punched by Kanye West?
No, I did not.
All right, well, let me read it. Good on that young man. Whenever you get a chance to fall down when someone pushes you and lay on the concrete for 20 minutes until the cops and the ambulance arrive, you got to do it. Even if it makes you look like a bitch and embarrasses your entire family.
Is that real?
Of course it's real. All my LeBron James tweets are real.
Did you hear, speaking of Kanye, I heard a story today about Drake, who is also a big hip hop or rap mogul.
Yeah. Irie, did you hear this story? It's a pretty good story. Have you heard it?
No, I haven't, but I'm all ears. I would love to hear it.
He was in bed with a female
Instagram model. That's important.
Instagram model. Okay. He took the Jimmy off with his load and put it in the wastebasket. And then she proceeded to take that and try to inseminate herself or whatever you want to call it, whatever technical terms are.
You ready for the Irie? Irie, you ready for the twist? You ready for the twist?
I'm ready for it.
Before he put it in the wastebasket, he put hot sauce in there to make sure like he killed his troops, right? And
Well,
so now she's trying to sue him.
That's interesting. Did he put hot sauce in there to try to kill the sperm, or as a out of vindictiveness for what he thought she might try to do? Like, was he doing it to hurt her or to kill the sperm?
The official story is to kill the troops, but
Right, but what do you think? What do you think was going on in his mind?
This is just my opinion, and I'm a moron. I'm not sure there's any scientific data between about hot sauce killing the viability of someone's specimen. So I think it would probably go the other way.
Yeah, I think that she probably has a case. I'm not a lawyer, but I think that she probably has a case. Yeah.
It is.
I mean, I mean, kudos on his team of people, right? Hey, make sure if you're gonna do this shit, make sure you take care of your business afterwards, right?
Yeah, that's
I don't know why you just wouldn't just flush. I don't know.
Well, that's what makes the story like a little bit hard to believe, right? Is because if this has really happened to him before, which I'm sure it has, and he's really worried about it, there's other ways to manage that risk.
Yeah, the flushing solution seems to be significantly easier than hiding the bottle of Frank's in the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. Now what I can comment intelligently about is the effect of hot sauce on a woman's vagina. It is not particularly toxic. It would be a little bit uncomfortable, wouldn't cause any damage. It's not a very good way to get revenge.
The report was that there was screaming. So
yeah,
perhaps it was like the El Diablo version of whatever.
Well, if it was extra spicy, that's a different story.
Yeah, I assume that's what it was. All right, everything
it was the mango habanero.
Yeah, everything. This has all been preamble. It's only been like 50 minutes of preamble. Irie, you want to pick some games? That's what we're here for. You want to pick?
Sure. What I am. I'm kind of post gamble right now because I'm coming down off of the year of NFL betting, and I'm not very happy with how things ended up in the Calcutta draft. So I am. This is going to be off the top of my head if you're asking for my hot picks here. So.
That's perfectly fine. Yes, you grossly overpaid for all of your Calcutta teams. So congratulations.
Not the Ravens.
Yeah. What, real quick, the math on the ROI for the Ravens, Edon, could you figure that out for us, please?
Yeah, let me get my spreadsheet real quick.
Okay,
Hold on.
if you could come up with that. All right, game number one, Saturday, the early afternoon game on the West Coast. The Bengals are getting 3.5 at the Titans. Who do you like?
Well, I have a soft spot in my heart for the Titans because they played a critical role for my gambling life this year in the Christmas game, the Christmas Thursday game. So I am going with the Titans.
Okay, and we do 1 to 5 stars here. 1 is you're betting just because you're forced to. 5 stars means you know the final score already. How confident are you in this game?
I think I'm going all in.
Oh, 5 star. Oh,
yeah.
Here's an addendum. We do have the KL special. We had KL Cleaton on the show earlier in the year, and he broke the mold and dropped an 11-star bomb. You can use that once per episode. So you got 4 games. I think you know the matchups. So you can do 5 stars, or if you want to use the 11-star here, you can do that as well.
Well, that changes the math, pretty significantly. I've never seen a clearer all-in bet in my life. Ooh. Titans, 11 stars.
Again, people are saying the team that bought the Titans had the best draft in the entire Calcutta.
I envy their team. Which team was that? Was that
that was Team Mahoney Wannabe, led by Riddy.
Mike is also on the team. That's why he's outing himself.
Well, makes sense. Yeah, I like it.
Merely a coincidence. All right, next game. Saturday night, Packers are at home against the Niners, favored by 6. That's growing under concern that perhaps the very handsome Jimmy G isn't going to be under center.
I don't think it matters. I think they could bring Joe Montana out of retirement in his old form, and it wouldn't make any difference. Nobody's going to beat Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau in the first round of the playoffs. Green Bay, 5 stars.
Spoken like a true Packers Calcutta owner.
Mhm.
All right. Early game. These are weird times. Sunday, the first game's at 2. Chicago time, 2:00. Rams are at the Buccaneers. Buccaneers are favored by 3.
Yeah, that's probably the game I'm looking most forward to watching, just because that could be a fun game. I'm going to go with the upset here and say that Matt Stafford has been wearing the albatross of the Detroit system for years and years and years, and now that he's finally in the hands of a good coach and a good system, he's going to teach old man Brady a lesson.
You know
One
that
star.
game, as a sharp that you are, that game opened at like 2.5. Isn't that crazy?
No, I didn't see the opening line. What's it at right now?
It's at 3. 2.5
Yeah,
is 2.5 is just wrong, right? It's just a wrong
yeah,
number.
it seems wrong. I'm actually surprised it's just 3, but
Hmm.
I'm gonna take the money line Rams.
All
One
right,
star.
we're gonna give you plus 130 on the money line. How many stars on that?
Just 1.
Oh,
I have little confidence in that one.
okay. And last game, exciting game. This line's going back up. Again, there was a wrong line here for a little bit. The Chiefs are hosting the Bills. Earlier today, they were only favored by 1.5. It's back up to 2.5. What are you thinking here?
The Bills looked pretty good last weekend, and but the Chiefs are no slouch themselves. I think on this one, I will flip a coin right before the sports book closes, and go with whatever the coin toss comes up.
All right, here.
Let's do it. Okay, so if it's heads, I'm going with Kansas City. If it's tails, I'm going with the Bills.
It's heads.
All right, Kansas City for the win.
All right.
5 stars.
Oh, 5 stars on a coin flip.
Yeah.
That you don't see every day. All right, those are all my questions. I've gone through all of my notes here. You got anything else you want to tell the people, Irieguy?
No, I had a good time chatting with you guys about poker and sports, and I appreciate the invite, and good luck to everyone this weekend.
Awesome. I like to say good gambling to people, so I'll say that. I might hit you up offline about this Jeff gentleman with his dirty dealing book. I'm pretty excited for that. Again, I'm going to try to find it and I'll link it down below.
Yeah, I can send you a proper Amazon link or whatever if you want to. Like I said, I didn't plan to promote anything, but he was my college roommate, and I read the book. It's a good read. Anybody who likes a good story, especially about poker in the old days, it's a great read. So I would recommend it.
I can tell you.
I did a little search. I found Dirty Dealing, but it's a different book. So you might
Okay,
have
I'll
to
send
send
you guys. Yeah, I'll send you a proper link so you can link it in the notes or whatever y'all do. And I'll talk to Jeff. He might be up for coming on and talking about the book if you're interested in that story. So
awesome. As a precursor, everybody, you should go back and find the Irieguy shows from sessions where Irie was entertaining and kind enough to tell the story about how Koppelman and others perhaps got their hand on a script that was sent into Miramax or whoever, and changed a few words around and
it's an interesting story.
made a movie. All right, Edonk, I hear you might be going to see the Bulls tonight. Is that correct?
There's a very good chance we hop in a car as soon as it's over and go see the Bulls. I'm not sure. I'm kind of a snob when it comes to going to see games in person, so I'm going to wait to see where the tickets are before I go. I mean, it might be a little weird, but I don't know.
Quick bonus pick, Edonk, real quick. The Bulls are getting 3 points at home. Lay it on me.
Yeah, we gotta go with the Bulls. If I'm gonna go, we're gonna go with the Bulls.
How many
4
stars?
stars.
4 stars. All right, good
Yep.
place to end it. Good place to end it. Edonk, good to see you again. Poker rags across your forehead. Irieguy, I appreciate you stopping by. This was awesome.
These guys are a lot of fun.
Okay, and as a Calcutta member, I greatly appreciate the overpaying that you did for all of your teams.
Hey, I'm here to abide.
Yeah, I'm gonna be out there in March, and we're gonna play some disc golf.
Sounds great. Skins?
Whatever the fuck you want.
That's how you end it. Thanks, Irie. See you guys.
Thank you.